Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, as we wrap up a week that celebrated the life of President George Herbert Walker Bush, a man whose family tree runs through Ohio. His father was born in Columbus, his grandfather buried there. This week I had a chance to catch up with two Ohioans from different worlds who both reflected on the man they proudly called friend. Rob Portman was an early supporter of President Bush back when he first ran for the presidency in 1980. It was the start of a relationship that would lead to a job in the eventual Bush White House in 1988.
Frankly, I probably wasn't qualified for the job, but it was one of the White House lawyers.
That led to bigger jobs as legislative liaison and director of legislative affairs.
He wanted to give me the opportunity, and I tried to earn that trust he had shown in me. And ever since then, he's been a mentor of mine and really my mentor in this business, this crazy business of politics.
Their friendship would last through the years. Portman last visiting with him in September in Kennebunkport.
He has a good sense of humor, so I showed up with my Bush 88 hat on that was, ancient and falling apart, but he got a kick out of that.
Another Ohioan with a connection to President Bush is Brown's great Bernie Kosich, who highlights in his book Learning to Scramble being introduced to him by his son Jeb during his playing days at the University of Miami. Through then Vice President Bush, Kosich would meet President Reagan, leading to lasting relationships with both men.
Being able to get into the Lincoln bedroom and hang out there, you have kind of access to the Oval Office in the White House with President Reagan and then President Bush. And it kind of led to one of my kind of favorite pictures that I'm proud to have in my house.
That was taken during a campaign stop in Akron in 1988.
The way Bernie came back last week,
his relationship with Bush 41 led to a relationship with Bush 43. Kosich said the president's passing marks the end of an era for the country and the loss of a man he so deeply respected.
Whether you're a D or an R, it's such an honor to be the president of our great country. And for me to have that ability to call him a friend, I feel super blessed.
Interesting stat, when George Bush left office, the #1 employer in the state was General Motors, more than 60,000 jobs. Today, they have roughly 1/10 of that, and their rank down to 53rd. And the decision to stop production at Lordstown, no doubt, will drop them down even further. Governor Kosich in Cleveland this week spoke of his conversation with GM CEO Mary Barra.
I told her, I said, your people have to work with ours to come up with a solution. She, yeah. I said, Mary, you don't understand what I'm saying. I don't want lip service. Sometimes it hasn't been always that easy to work with your folks. This is deadly serious now. She said, I got it, and thank you for telling me this. And I guarantee you we'll work with you. So we'll see what happens there.
Now, Ohio Senators Rob Portman and Sherrod Brown both met with Barra on Wednesday. So I asked Portman what was his take. Was this lip service, GM going through the motions, or does he seriously think that they will consider options for Lordstown?
Well, I'll be honest. I thought the meeting was good. It was very candid, tough. But I thought it was good because we were able to get into specifics. I've been asking, as you know, for months, not just days, for them to bring a new product to Lordstown, because when they shut down the first shift, which was last spring, we knew something was going on. And then the second shift, and now they've just got one shift left. And this plant has been a great plant for them, and we were able to talk about that. So with GM producing 20 electric cars in the next 5 years, which is what they say they're going to do, we just think there's a great opportunity there, and give us a chance. We're not asking for charity. What we're asking for is the opportunity to once again show what we can do.
Keeping options open, but didn't want to say anything that might raise false hopes. But when GM was a powerhouse back in 1995, an economic engine of its own was opening on Cleveland's lakefront, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, this week. They're going to announce the class of 2019. But before they do, you have until midnight tonight to have your say on who should be in. Visitors to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like Doug from Bowling Green, get to cast their ballots for who they think should be in the class of 2019. First on his list,
Def Leppard, big fan of the hair bands of the 80s. Bon Jovi got in last year.
Voting, though, is not limited to Rock Hall visitors, but is open to anyone online until midnight Sunday. Fans can vote for up to 5 nominees, with the top 5 in popular voting being placed on a ballot. And yes, that counts as just one ballot out of the hundreds that will be tallied. But in the 3 years they've been doing this,
of the top 5 vote getters from the fans, I believe each year 4 of them have been elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's tracking with the critical vote as well.
Doug's Def Leppard vote reflective of their commanding lead heading into the home stretch. This year's induction ceremony was held at Public Hall, with next year's set to be held in New York. But for the first time since the Rock Hall opened, Cleveland won't have long to wait for it to come back in 2020, now that we're in an every other year rotation. The Rock Hall is an economic engine in Northeast Ohio, drawing annually more visitors than the Baseball and Football Hall of Fames combined.
We now host almost 600,000 visitors a year at our museum, and those visitors have an economic impact of $200 million to the Northeast Ohio community.
And that nearly $200 million in economic impact was for just last year alone. Not bad for a $65 million local investment made years ago towards a $92 million price tag to build the Rock Hall. In addition, research done for this year's induction showed 80% of Rock Hall visitors are coming from out of town, combining to spend between hotels, restaurants, and the like an average of $349,000 a day.
The people of Northeast Ohio voted and lobbied and pushed and built this, and it's been paying dividends for 23 years, and we're really excited about our future.
And remember, you have until midnight tonight to vote, and the class of 2019 will be announced a little bit later this week. And when the inductions return to Cleveland in 2020, it's going to mark the 25th anniversary of the building itself. With Democracy 2018, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.